Hey, what's up guys, the Backalley Dad here, bringing you guys another bombastic video. And I'll talk about the Operation Vanguard in this one, but the operation has been out there for a few days already, so I'm not going to go in depth with the mission system just because I assume a lot of people already know how the system works. But in my opinion, it's actually a lot better than the one we had in Breakout, just because with this system you can actually have more than 2 missions simultaneously. And it's not that random. We actually get to know when we get new missions and stuff like that. I think it's just a better overall system. But the maps in Operation Vanguard, in my opinion, are also a lot better than in Breakout. But in Breakout there wasn't one particular map which I loved. I mean, I liked Insertion, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It was just a pretty good map, nothing more than that. But in this operation there's actually a map that I absolutely love. And no, it's not DE Season. I actually like Season 2, but it's not Season. The map I love is not Season. But I'll get into that later in this video. But I also want to talk about the new Vanguard case, the new skins. And when I first saw the skins I was like, meh. I thought the skins weren't all that good. But when I actually looked more in depth into them, when I actually watched a few YouTube videos about these skins, I actually fell in love with a couple of them, and I'm a huge fan of the AK Wasteland Rebel, or whatever, and I know a lot of people hate the skin, but I like these kind of designs. I also like Jaguar, which was probably one of the most hated skins in CSGO, and for some reason I just like these kind of skins. I like Jaguar, I like Wasteland, and I will probably wait like a month or two for the price to go a little bit lower, and I will probably get the new AK just because I like it so much. And I also like the M4A4 Griffin. I think it's one of the best M4 skins out there, and it definitely looks pretty dope. In my opinion, it's just as good as Howl, if not better. And I'll probably try to get Griffin as well when the price goes a little lower. I mean, it's not all that high right now, but I definitely don't want to overpay. And I actually like most skins in this case. I am a fan of that Shotty skin. I'm a fan of that XM1014 skin. It has that red theme going on, and it looks pretty cool as well. I also love the Scar 20 skin. It's pretty flashy, and it has those bright colors, which look pretty nice as well. And I hear a lot of hype about P2000 Fire Elemental, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, the skin looks pretty cool, yeah, it has that fire going on, that blue theme with red fire and stuff like that, but I think I prefer Glock Water Elemental over this, and after all, I'm not a huge fan of P2000. I usually use the USPS, so I would probably never get this skin. I think it would be pretty useless for me. But yeah, some lower tier skins in this case are also pretty cool. Sort of Highwayman is pretty cool, 5-7 Urban Hazard. And I do think this is a pretty good case, and I'm looking to get my hands on some of these skins. But let's talk about the maps a little bit. Let's talk about Season. So the first map I played in this operation was actually Season. And don't get me wrong, I have never played Season before. I haven't played it in 1.6 or Source or whatever. I don't even know if it was in Source, but I'm probably the new generation of Counter-Strike. The new generation player of Counter-Strike. But whatever. I think the design of Season is pretty cool. It has that white theme with green accents. I think it looks pretty nice. But the way this map plays is a little weird. And that's just because in my opinion it's very CD-sided. But I guess it's supposed to be CD-sided. I think counter-terrorists can easily take middle. And for terrorists it's very hard to cross from one side to another through middle. Unless they smoke it, of course. And I also find it pretty hard for terrorists to kill counter-terrorists on middle. And what I usually do is just, I smoke middle off just because it's such a huge problem. But yeah, I don't like picking middle on pretty much any map when I don't have the op. So whatever. But anyway, it just feels like DE Season is very different from any other map we have in Counter-Strike. Just because it takes a lot of time for players to rotate from one side to another. And it probably makes the map a little more fun to play, a little more challenging and stuff like that. I actually played a couple more matches on DE Season and I figured out it's actually a pretty good map. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely good. Let's move on to the map which I actually like the most, and that is Workout. Why do I actually love this map so much? And there's a simple answer for this. I don't feel like it's either CD or T-sided. Maybe you think it's T-sided just because counter-terrorists have to run strats to get hostages and stuff like that, but I honestly don't feel that way. Just because there's a lot of room to work with, there's a lot of space. People could be hiding everywhere. And terrorists actually have to be alert all the time just because counter-terrorists could be pretty much everywhere. They could be in the courtroom, they could be on that stairway, they could be at middle, they could be everywhere. And this map overall is just huge. And honestly, this map actually changed my stereotype a little bit just because I never thought a huge map could be played well in Counter-Strike, apart from Cobblestone, which was pretty big as well, of course. But I never thought such a huge map could be so fucking good. And one tip for you guys: as a terrorist, try to opt middle, just because it's probably going to result in a very easy kill. And as counter-terrorists, I don't suggest pushing middle, just because you can easily get opt off or smoked off, or terrorists can just throw flashes at you. But anyway guys, I love Workout a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite maps of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I hope they won't take it away after the operation ends. And now let's talk a little bit about Backalley. And Backalley, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful maps from this operation, if not the most beautiful, just because it takes place in a dark town, which in my opinion looks pretty dope. And it's something different from the usual sunny maps we have in Counter-Strike, like Dust 2 and Mirage, where everything is pretty bright and you can see shit very well. This is something very different. It's dark, but it looks very, very cool. It's pretty dope. There are a lot of corridors in this map, and it was pretty hard for me to get used to this map just because it felt like enemies are coming from everywhere, and I found myself looking at the minimap all the time just to find my way to hostages. And I do think that this map is terrorist-sided just because counter-terrorists have to work their way through to get the hostages, and later on they have to take them back to the base. And terrorists can play very good spots in this map, and overall I do think this is a pretty fantastic map. And now let's move on to the next map, Marquis. And I think this map is also pretty cool, but it's not one of my favorites. It's probably one of my least favorite maps from this operation, and I haven't played this map that much actually. My team had a huge lead and the enemy just surrendered. I guess we went through about 10 rounds, maybe 12 or something, and I played it for a very short time, but it just seemed like it's not as good as the rest of the maps in this operation. I mean, it's still pretty nice and stuff like that. It's also pretty fun, but not quite on par with the other maps we have in this operation. It's definitely not a regular Counter-Strike map. It doesn't have all the regular like places you would expect it to have, but there's just something about it that makes me not like it so much. And now let's move on to Bazaar. And Bazaar, on the other hand, is actually one of my favorite maps of this operation just because it plays very, very well. It is a little bit CD-sided, but either team has a chance if they execute well. And I actually played a very interesting game on this map. My team came in strong, we contributed very well, and we got the momentum from the very beginning and we had a huge lead. But when we actually reached the match point, the enemy team turned on cheats, and I'm not joking. Two guys were using aimbots, and eventually it was a tie, and games like this piss me the fuck off. I just hope the cheaters get banned. Maybe if I would have won this game, maybe I would have gotten my rank up, but I'm talking about the rank up a lot in this video just because I feel like I might get it sometime soon. But overall I think this map is very good, it plays very well, it looks very good, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing on it a lot more. And now when I look back at other operations, it just feels like this one has so many good maps, while others had not so good maps in there. And now let's move on to the last map, Facade or Facade or whatever. This map is more similar to regular Counter-Strike map, because it has middle, it has short, it has long and stuff like that. and in my opinion it's very nice. I actually went on a pretty good adventure while playing Facade. I actually played all maps from Operation Vanguard, and it was about 11 p.m. and I was like, I wanted to sleep so badly, but I was like, oh, I gotta play that last map, I gotta try it out, so in the morning I can make a commentary and stuff like that. And so I joined the game, and everything seemed fine. We were executing, we were contributing, and everything was just nice, and the game was pretty close till the very end, but in the last few rounds we just got the momentum and won it. And I was actually on a huge winning streak. I was hoping once again that I would get promoted to Distinguished Master Guardian, but I wasn't. But I guess I'm very close, because look at this screenshot. There were actually 2 legendary eagles and a Distinguished Master Guardian in my team, and we were matched up against Distinguished Master Guardians. And I was actually playing at a higher level than I usually do. And if I wasn't sleepy, if I was actually concentrating a little bit more, I just feel that I would have definitely played better. I mean, it just felt like a regular game against Master Guardian elites. It didn't feel like I was playing on a higher level, but apparently I was, and I didn't even notice it. So I guess one day I might actually get the rank up. And I'm on a huge winning streak, I guess 7 or 8 wins, so maybe after one more win I'll get my promotion. So what do I actually think about the map itself? It's definitely a lot of fun, but one thing I don't understand is why terrorists always try to charge into A side on Facade. Because B side isn't all that hard to take. In my opinion, it's pretty much the same as A side. And counter-terrorists usually play 2 players at B side and 3 at A. I mean, B side isn't all that hard to take. It's definitely a lot easier than taking Beyond Dust 2, in my opinion. It's difficult to hold it, but not all that hard to take it. But almost every round, when I was playing as a counter-terrorist, the enemies were going to A side for some weird reason. And in the very last rounds, they couldn't really do anything at A side, they were pawned. Yet they still kept going to it, then they pretty much never tried B. There was one single round where enemies went B, and we were able to hold the push. But every other time, they were just charging into A side for some reason. So guys, let me know down below in the comments, have you played Facade, and what do you think about this topic? But to sum it up, in my opinion, this is the best operation out there, just because here are so many fantastic maps. I mean, if I compare my least favorite map from this operation, and compare it to all maps from Operation Breakout, Marquis would actually beat most maps right there. And it's just crazy in my opinion, because one single operation has so many good maps. I would definitely categorize Workout, Season, and Backalley as some of the best maps Counter-Strike Global Offensive has ever had. And all of them are in one single operation. And in addition to these fantastic maps, the operation also gives you the ability to get more skins by completing missions, which in my opinion is pretty huge as well. In my opinion, it is the best operation we have had in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Give it a try, guys. I'm pretty sure you won't regret it. But just to give you guys my final opinion, just to give you guys my overall opinion about all the maps together, here are the maps from my favorite to my least favorite. And yeah, and I would definitely appreciate if you guys also wrote something similar down below in the comment section, just so I know what kind of maps do you like. And I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I would definitely appreciate if you guys left a like for all the hard work I put in this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do it. I upload Counter-Strike videos, and it's been the Commentator. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later. Peace.